Okay, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, the legend of Sleepy Hollow. Well, this is actually a reshoot because I realized I missed a couple of things the last time. Okay. In short, the legend of Sleepy Hollow is the story of a headless horseman who had his head shot off by a black cannonball during the Revolutionary War. He was a Hessian soldier. Now, the ironic thing about this is that it's not just a story. There actually is a report of a ghost of a headless horseman in Sleepy Hollow, New York. So, all stories have to come from somewhere. They can't all be fake. But anyways, I'm going to talk about a lot of adaptions of Sleepy Hollow. I have the let's see if I can find it here. Well, it's in that mess somewhere. But I have the book, which is a short story itself, Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. Written in 1820, I believe. Something like that. So anyways, here I go, talking about adaptions of Sleepy Hollow. And you see my black cat Raven in the background. Ironic, isn't it? Yeah. Black cat named Raven. Yeah. Okay, this one's narrated by Glenn Close. It's a story one with illustrations. Now you might think that one like that wouldn't really be that good, right? Well, that's what I thought, but I took a chance on it anyway. But it's really done well. The illustrations are really good, and it holds your attention. Now, there is another version of this, okay? It's by Golden Books. Now, that's a cheap one, where the narration's not that good, and the illustrations aren't that great either. So, the Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Golden Books VHS, don't bother. Do not bother with that one. It's not worth it. I put that one in the free library thing across the street. This stars Brett Carver. It's called The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. It was a Hallmark special in 1999. This is very hard to find. Follows the story pretty closely. It's not particularly graphic, but it's done well. It's a good film. I like it. Found it at Goodwill, one in Williston. It's a good made-for-TV film. It's definitely essential if you want to collect Sleepy Hollow adaptions, like myself, or if you have a love for the Headless Horseman, or something like that, I guess. Horseman aficionado. But it's a really good film. Really good graphics on the cover, as you can see there. Next is The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. This is an animated one from 1949. This is with a special Halloween cover art. It features Bing Crosby singing a song called The Headless Horseman. He also narrates it. And then you have Basil Rathbone, which narrates the other story, which has nothing to do with Sleepy Hollow, but it's actually good. It's called The Wind in the Willows. J. Thaddeus Toad gets infatuated with a motor car and gets accused of stealing one. Then you have his friends, the mole, the rat, and the badger, who you will also see in the Mickey's Christmas Carol. If you pay attention, you see characters from that and that. show as well. But this is pretty good for an animated movie. It's done really well. It's very amusing. The Headless Horseman by Bing Crosby definitely adds to it. It's really a catchy Halloween song from 1949 I also have on Halloween disc there. It's called The Haunted House, but it features Halloween tracks from the latest ones like 1949. Which is probably why that's the last one on the disc. They're mostly like vintage jazz by like Louis Armstrong and stuff, so it's pretty cool. And I'm actually on YouTube right now. I want to play you a track that's actually already on here on YouTube. It's by the Monotones, or Monotones, I guess is how you pronounce it. It's called The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. It's from 1958.
Headless horseman time watch out, it's wild, it's your blood, really bad, if you want to find out. Slow down and you lose your head. He runs through the land with his head in his hand. What a man from fantasy. He said, oh, dear me, it's a vengeance. What a man from fantasy. Watch out, it's wild, it's your blood, really bad, if you want to find out. Slow down and you lose your head. He runs through the land with his head in his hand. What a man from fantasy. He said, oh, dear me, it's a vengeance. What a man from
Pretty interesting, isn't it? I don't know how clear that was. I just put the microphone up to the speaker, but that's on YouTube. Anyways, if you want to check it out, it's Monotones, or Monotones, how you pronounce it, Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I assume that Bing Crosby's Headless Horseman is also on here, and you can also find other adaptions of the something of the show on here. One couple you want to avoid, though, before I go any further, is one's called The Curse of the Headless Horseman, which if you watch it, first of all, doesn't really have anything to do with Sleepy Hollow. Second of all, it's clearly done by a bunch of 1960s hippie stoners. So, yeah, you can pretty well guess how good the movie looks. But don't bother with The Curse of the Headless Horseman. And another one to avoid, it's really shitty, that some people actually like for some damn reason, is there's one. It was made for TV in the 1980 called The Legend of Sleepy Hollow with Jeff Goldblum. Now you think with Jeff Goldblum playing Ichabod Crane it would be good, but it just, well, for one thing, everybody knows The Legend of Sleepy Hollow story itself took place in October, and that movie, it was a winter scene. They didn't really knock themselves out with the set, and just the whole movie just didn't really have a good feel to it. And when you actually do see the Headless Horseman, it's like really, really, really cheap. So that's on YouTube if you really want to watch it, but don't expect to be impressed by it. As I've seen older movies that look better than that. Well, I've seen a lot of older movies that look better than that, actually. You can't win them all. When there's more than one adaptation of something like that, they're not all going to be good. But back to the good ones anyway. This one's called The Haunted Pumpkin of Sleepy Hollow. It deals with this kid named Nick, and he's a descendant of Ichabod Crane. And the Headless Horseman has to put his pumpkin head on to stay alive or stay resurrected before midnight Halloween night. It's pretty interesting. I picked this up at Hollywood Video before it closed because I had never heard of it. But it's another animated film, but it's done really well. It has other like ghosts and a haunted house in it, so definitely hold your interest. Don't let the fact that some of these are animated throw you off, because just because they're animated doesn't mean they're bad. There's a lot of good animated films out there, even horror-wise. One of the best ones I've seen is computer animated, which is right here. It's also one of the closely adapted to the story, or probably the closest adapted to the story, Legend of Sleepy Hollow that I've seen. It's called Night of the Headless Horseman. It features William H. Macy as Ichabod Crane, Tia Carey as Katrina Brentasso, and Luke Perry as Brom Bones. But this is only on VHS, so don't go looking for it on DVD or Blu-ray, because you're not going to find it. It's done really well, though. It's actually graphic in some spots, so don't let... I didn't know what to expect when I first saw it, but it's really good. It's really done well. It's too bad that it's not on DVD or Blu-ray, but I got a VCR, so it's all good. Like I said, some of these will only be on VHS. Like, the one with Glenn Close that I showed you earlier in the videos on DVD, but really depends on how much you want to spend on it. I mean, if you got a chance to buy the tape for $1 at Goodwill, or you want to order the DVD for $10 online, that's up to you. But okay, next is The Hollow with Nick Carter, Kaylee Cuoco, and Kevin Zegers. It's another Ian Cranston, the last blood relative of Ichabod Crane. As you can see, this horseman looks pretty cool in this one. Nick Carter, of course, plays a prankster type. He's a guy that was in the Backstreet Boys, but don't let that throw you off, even if you're not fans of those type of bands, which I'm not. Okay, definitely not. I don't listen to that crap. I listen to like oldies and classic country, but it's a good made-for-TV film. I believe this is a sci-fi picture, or aired on Sci-Fi nonetheless. I know Family Channel used to air it, but they stopped because they would cut so much out of it, there's nobody wanted to watch it, so now they're freeform, so whatever. But it's a good made-for-cable film. You can pick this up pretty cheap. It's like $4 or $5, so that's not too bad. It's a good adaptation, or bringing it into the modern era. Now I want to next one is the one that everybody's familiar with, and that's Legend of Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp, or just Sleepy Hollow. It's what's called Legend of Sleepy Hollow in some countries, actually. Like, parts of it follow the original story, but it's like it takes it to another level. But it's not a bad thing. Christina Ricci's in this, Christopher Lee, Casper Van Dien. It's got a lot of stars in it. It was a Tim Burton film. It's It's done really well. It's pretty badass. The Headless Horseman looks freaking sweet in it. It's got a good soundtrack, which I'd like to honestly find a copy of at some point. Show you this real quick. This is the Sleepy Hollow from the movie. I added a few of my own touches to it, like a skeleton, a couple skeletons, and a pumpkin head. Yeah, it didn't come with that. So if you get one of those, don't go looking for the pumpkin head or the extra skeletons in the under him, because I added those. They didn't come with that. But all in all, it's a really great film. I remember when I first got the Blu-ray, I had to rewatch it because somebody was freaking causing problems for me the night that I got it. So the next night I just rewatched it. So, but if you're familiar, I know a lot of you are familiar with that one, so I don't have to tell you too much about that. Next one I got is not really, it's a Headless Horseman one, but it's not Sleepy Hollow. It's called the Headless Horseman: The Final Cut. This came out in 2007. It's this group of kids on their way to a Halloween party stumble upon this town that's like frozen in time. It's because they make sacrifices to the Headless Horseman that comes back like every 7 years to claim 7 heads. This one's pretty gory, which I like. There's one point on it where he jumps out of the barn on a motorcycle, which is pretty cool. So it's not, a Sleepy Hollow story, obviously, but it's still really done well. If you like Headless Horseman stuff, then this is definitely essential. Now is getting to the last part of this. This is the Sleepy Hollow TV show. It's currently in season 4. Okay, this is season 1, which has to deal with Ichabod Crane awakening in modern times, and Headless Horseman still coming after him, and some interesting parts in the first episode where cops are trying to arrest the Headless Horseman, like, put your hands on your... Oh. He's got no head, so that would be kind of hard to put your hands on your head when you ain't got a head. But, actor named Tom Mison, or Mice, however you pronounce his name, plays Ichabod Crane. Nicole Bahari played Lieutenant, or is Ichabod Crane kind of Lieutenant. Abbie Mills in first 3 seasons. Katrina is his wife in it. It has like a lot of other demons and stuff like Buffy did, only even if you weren't a fan of Buffy, don't let that throw you off. This is like a lot better than Buffy. Buffy and Angel were good, okay, but Sleepy Hollow has a higher rewatch factor than those shows. I mean, I go back and watch certain episodes of Buffy and Angel, but I'll go back and watch like the whole seasons of Sleepy Hollow, which is why I own them. Season 2 has to deal with Henry Parrish, which is his son, and stopping the that Moloch, that really, really bad demon there. I also think that's the last one that Katrina is in. This Katrina, well, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's also features Lindy Greenwood as Jenny Mills, Abbie's sister. It's really good, solid second season. It's not as good as the first one is. I cannot stress enough, though, that Headless Horseman is not in every episode. So don't go looking for him. It's a horror series, yes, but there's like a lot of demons and ghouls in it to keep you interested. Trust me. So, but I'm sure you figured that. Season 3, there's one name of Pandora in it. Nikki Reed, who is in the Twilight movies, is also in season 3. Actually, I have to watch this. I don't really remember a lot about season 3. But Abbie Mills becomes an FBI agent, and Ichabod's like figuring out things in modern times, like cell phones. He's learning to play video games and shit like that. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. But all in all, it's a good overall series. It's in season 4 right now, which they're in Washington, D.C. Yeah, I know, but you gotta evolve. There's one episode where one of the demons is John Wilkes Booth, so that's pretty interesting. It's a great show, though. I hope it keeps going. But also, there's this CD I have called Ghostly Songs and Stories. It has a story, Legend of Sleepy Hollow, on it, which is about 19 minutes long. So if you get that, it's also got some other good stories on there too, and sound effects. So it's pretty cool. But Sleepy Hollow is like one of the things I'm interested in, and I don't know what it is. It's just something that appeals to me. But I hope you enjoyed this video, me talking about the Legend of Sleepy Hollow and a lot of the adaptions that you can get. I mean, there's other ones out there, I'm sure. There's a couple that I'm looking into that I don't have yet. There's one called Tall Tales and Legends, where Ed Begley Jr. plays Ichabod Crane. And then there's one with the Wishbone, the dog, where he plays Ichabod Crane. So, at the very least, the Wishbone one looks good. But again, it's only on VHS, so good luck finding it. So, other than that, I mean, I don't know, just something that's interesting. Like I said, everybody knows the Johnny Depp movie, but I just wanted to show y'all that there's much more out there, and it's worth checking out. And a couple that aren't worth bothering with, but you'll have that. But anyways, hope y'all enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.